attack, number 7, Michael Vick! And that is the reception for a man coming off one of the most spectacular performances ever 6 nights ago. Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles ready to take on Eli Manning and the New York Giants in a great matchup on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Cris, Collinsworth, Andrea, Kremer, welcome to Philadelphia. First place, undisputed possession of first place in the NFC East at stake. This game featuring 2 teams each with a mark of 6-3. In Philadelphia, it's all about Michael Vick, one of the most spectacular performances turned in by a quarterback in the history of the NFL in Washington on Monday night. Passed for 4 touchdowns, ran for 2 touchdowns. What does he have in store for an encore? What are the New York Giants going to do about Michael Vick tonight? The New York Giants started the season stumbling out of the gate, had a record of 1-2, but then won 5 in a row. And 2 weeks ago, people were saying, well, maybe this is the best team in the NFC. Then the Cowboys went to the Meadowlands, torched the Giants. Which Giant team shows up tonight? So what will the Giants do about Michael Vick? That's the question everybody is asking. So, Cris, let me ask you an original question. What are the Giants going to do to defend Michael Vick tonight?
You know, I think the easiest answer is you have to hit him. And so how do you hit him? I think you have to blitz him. And if he's going to run, you want him to run right so you don't get that run-pass option on the outside over there. But don't forget the New York Giants, despite a very poor performance against the Dallas Cowboys a week ago, are still the #1 ranked defense in the NFL. So they know how to hit people, and they'll be coming after Mike Vick tonight.
And a great front four, obviously. Now, these are heady days in Philadelphia. Everybody here very excited. They've had a lot of success through the years, but a lot of torture, too. There's been a lot of heartbreak for Eagle fans. How do you assess this team right now, and where do you think the Eagles are headed?
I think they're really good. And you have to start, obviously, with Mike Vick. Without question in my mind, he has been the MVP of the league so far. On the outside, he has Deshaun Jackson, who, since he's come in the NFL, has more big plays than anybody. And individually, they're both very good. But together, Al, they're combustible.
And a lot of buzz surrounding this game, especially after that performance the other night by Michael Vick. Of course, we'll see Deshaun Jackson in action tonight. And the Eagles against Eli Manning and the Giants on Sunday Night Football.
NBC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Up to the minute NFC East standings. Each of these teams 6-3. Well, a few minutes ago, Andrea Kremer spoke with Giants defensive end O.C. Umenyiora. Here's Andrea.
Well, Al, O.C. Umenyiora was watching Michael Vick last week, calls Justin Tuck and says, do you see this? All right, O.C., you get Vick up close and personal now. What's the one thing your defense has to do to try and control Vick?
Well, we got to keep him in the pocket. We got to keep him contained. We can't let him have the option to both run and pass. And I think if we do that, we have a good chance of winning.
Since Tom Coughlin has been the head coach, the team has struggled the second half of the season. What makes you think it'll be different this year?
It's a different team, different year, different veteran leadership. We're a better football team than we've been in the past, and I think we're going to show it the second half of the season.
All right, O.C., thanks very much. Appreciate your time. And Al, Giants left tackle Sean Andrews, who missed practice all week with a back injury, will go tonight. He told me he's still in some pain, but will not be limited.
And we are going to see him right away because the Giants are going to get the ball. They won the toss and elected to receive, which is a pretty good idea. I don't think you want to defer to an offense coming off a 59-point performance on Monday night, and they scored those 59, Cris, in just 3 quarters because they were blanked in the 4th. Will Blackman back to receive the Akers kick. Fireworks exploding over South Philadelphia. Big game, and here we go. An Akers kick will bounce through the end zone for a touchback. And let's take a look at the Giant offense taking over at the 20-yard line.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Ahmad Bradshaw, Marshall.
Barry Pasco, Fresno State.
Hakeem Nicks, North Carolina.
Mario Manningham, Warren G. Harding.
Kevin Boss, Western Oregon.
Sean Andrews, Arkansas.
Kevin Booth, Cornell.
Rich Soybert, Western Illinois.
Chris Snee, Boston College.
Kareem McKenzie, Penn State.
Giants minus 2 Pro Bowl linemen. David Deal is hurt. Sean O'Hara's hurt, the center. And also minus Steve Smith, their slot receiver. Another Pro Bowler. So those guys all inactive tonight. Ahmad Bradshaw starts as the running back, and they give it to him. And the Eagles are right there. That is Antonio Dixon, second-year man out of Miami, number 90, who stops him in the backfield.
One of the real improvements for this Philadelphia team has been the addition of Antonio Dixon inside. They struggled to stop the run early in the season, put him in the lineup, and all of a sudden they became much, much better defensively.
Loss of 2, second down and 12 from the 18-yard line. And again on the ground, and nowhere to run this time either for Bradshaw. 3rd and 10 upcoming. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia D.
Quay Parker, Oklahoma State.
Mike Patterson, D, Southern California.
Antonio Dixon, the U. Trent Cole, Cincinnati.
Moses Foku, Maryland.
Stu Bradley, Nebraska.
Ernest Sams, Florida State.
Asante Samuel, UCF Knights.
Quentin Michael, Boise State.
Nate Allen, South Florida.
Dimitri Patterson, Tuskegee University.
Patterson with 2 interceptions last week, taking over for Ellis Hobbs at the cornerback spot as Manning has time, and Manning launches one deep, and the pass is caught by Hakeem Nicks, and now they're going to say that he was out of bounds. The field judge is right there, covered by Samuel, but he was out of bounds. Had gotten free, pass was right there, but he couldn't stay in bounds on his 4th down.
Really amazing that Nicks was able to get this open against double coverage, but he just had no presence of where he was on the field. He really ran a great route here, but now you've got to know you're close to the sideline. You just catch that thing and collapse out of bounds, and that's a huge mistake by a receiver.
Matt Dodge, who's going to thrill a minute as the rookie punter for the Giants. This is a short, low boot, and with Deshaun Jackson back there and not wanting to kick it to him, he doesn't kick it to him. But you can see by the exasperation on Coughlin's face, that's not what Tom had in mind.
I don't think that was the thrill he was looking for.
25-yard boot, and that gives Vic the opportunity to take over at the Giants' 45-yard line. His first pass last week after the opening kickoff in Washington was the 88-yarder to Deshaun Jackson. This time he starts on the plus side of the 50 on 1st down, and he's going to go off play action. And Vic under pressure, and the Giants are able to get him at the 44 as he crosses the line of scrimmage. He's tackled there by Justin Tuck.
I was kind of playing around with Jeremy Maclin before the game, and I said, now, why do you want to let Deshaun Jackson show you up last week? He said, oh, really? He said, watch the first play tonight. He thought he had a big one coming on the very first one, but with Justin Tuck bringing the pressure, Mike Vick had no choice but to try and scramble out of there, and they do get their first little hit on him. I'm sure they're looking for a lot more.
2nd down and 9 with the ball at the 44-yard line. And Ron Winter with the first flag of the game.
False start. Offense number 32. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Fullback Owen Schmidt. And coming off to the Giants sideline right now is Justin Tuck. So he'll have to be out for at least to play. Dave Tollefson, number 71, will take his spot.
Well, and that hurts in 2 spots, not only with the outside pass rush, but of course they love to move him inside. And if this Eagles offensive line has an issue, I think it's inside at the center guard position with their quickness.
2nd and 14. Vic hands the ball off McCoy, and he can't get out of the backfield. That is Antrell Roll coming up from the safety spot to tackle him in the backfield. And right now let's take a look at the Eagles offense.
Michael Vick, Virginia Tech.
LaShawn McCoy,
Pitt Panthers. Owen Schmidt, West Virginia.
Deshaun Jackson, California. Jeremy Mackin, Mizzou Tigers.
Brent Selleck, Cincinnati.
Jason Peters,
Arkansas.
Todd Harriman, Saginaw Valley.
Mike McGlynn, Pitt.
Nick Cole, New Mexico State.
Winston Justice, Southern Cal.
The Eagles starters. Tuck is back in, so he only misses one play. It's 3rd down and 16. Vick with a ton of time in the pocket. Moves to his left and then throws, and the pass is incomplete. Jeremy Macklin couldn't hold on. So a little different beginning tonight for Philadelphia. The pressure finally put on that time by Umanura, forcing Vick to throw.
Yeah, and Mike Vick, as he does so well, able to little slide around the pocket and buy some time. The Giants all week at practice this week practiced one thing defensively, and that was the old get back drill. They backed up and backed up because the one thing Mike Vick loves to do is just take it and throw it long and high and gives his guys a chance.
Sav Rocca will send it to Will Blackman. Blackman collects it at the 11, and there's no blocking there for him. Just a whole bunch of green shirts. So each team starts with a 3 and out in this battle for first in the NFC East. Philadelphia, PA, temperature in the mid-40s on this Sunday night. Dry, no threat of rain. Giants have the ball, beginning this drive from their own 14-yard line. Running back is Ahmad Bradshaw. And Bradshaw over the right side to the 16. Eli Manning, right now in his 7th season against the Eagles, a 4-1 record in this stadium with 16 touchdowns, 12 picks. This season, Manning has thrown a lot of interceptions, talking about Vick throwing none. 13, and a lot of them off tipped and deflected balls.
Yeah, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, kind of gunslinger kind of numbers, and sounds more like Brett Favre than Eli Manning.
A little better record than Brett has this year.
Yeah.
2nd down and 8. Play clock all the way down, and he just does get it off. And the Eagles are right there with Bradshaw running right. Ernie Sims, number 50, picked up in a trade with Detroit in the offseason, is the first guy there.
Yeah, and one of the problems Eli Manning is going to have tonight, he is so good understanding what the defense is trying to give him and coming up with audibles. Unfortunately, he has a new offensive line up there with Sean Andrews, who didn't practice all week, Kevin Booth, Rich Seibert, the new center, because of the injury to Sean O'Hara. So he has to be a little bit careful about changing too much on the fly in this kind of a crowd.
Crowd already in full throat on 3rd down and 8. Manning with good protection that time and throws to the outside, and it's dropped at the 21-yard line by Mario Manningham. We'll see a lot more of Eli's throws in the absence of Smith. He caught 10 passes last week.
And you really hit on the key there, Al, is Steve Smith has been such a key part of this offense. They have tried different looks in the slot. Remember, the slot receiver is the guy that has to make all the hot reads. He has to make all those last-minute snap decisions, and they have not found a replacement for Steve Smith yet.
All right, Dodgers' first kick was awful. This one is going to give Jackson a chance for a run back from the 23-yard line. And Jackson, who can burn anybody at any time, is out of bounds at the 33. Here come the Eagles with 9:25 left in the opening quarter. And you can enhance your Sunday night football experience. Just log on NBCSports.com. Go to SNF Extra. That's what the screen will look like. A lot of good stuff. Statistics, chats, camera angles, the whole deal. Philadelphia's second possession. The running back now is Jerome Harrison, picked up from Cleveland, and you've got another flag for a false start.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
That's the left tackle, Jason Peters, to make it 1st down and 15.
Don't you get the feeling that this game has like a little nervous start to it, almost like a playoff kind of feel? These two teams understand the significance of this one. It really is. In the last 2 weeks, both of these teams have sort of been anointed as the best team in the NFC, one after the other.
The two teams parrying in this first round as opposed to that knockout blow that the Eagles threw the other night in Washington. Vick rolling left to throw back to the right side, but the Giants were able to smell it out, and Macklin gets taken down by Tuck. Tuck staying with him in space, in coverage, and is able to take him down for a loss of 3.
Well, this is what the Washington Redskins a week ago could not do, and that is keep up athletically with the Philadelphia Eagles. You look across the board at the Eagles offensively, they just have so many different really fast players on the field, and yet this defensive line from the Giants is proving now that they can sort of match on the outside and on the inside with the Eagles.
And a real smart heady play by Tuck, who'd normally be rushing at 274 pounds, seeing what Vick was going to do and staying with him and making the tackle. Second down and 18. Vick, good protection, slings it over the middle. Open man at the 47 is Jackson. And that's a first down. Needed 18 and got about 23.
Well, this pass play takes forever to develop, and obviously you have to start with the pass protection. Nice job by LaShawn McCoy with the chip on the outside. But watch how long Mike Vick holds this ball until he can finally move Jonathan Goff with his eyes. There's Osi Umenyiora getting the shot on the outside, and that's what really set the table for that slow developing play.
From the 47-yard line, they're going to run the end around with Jackson, and Jackson gets taken down. Good tackle. The safety, Kenny Phillips, coming up. Let's take a look at that Giant defense.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame.
Barry Cofield, Northwestern.
Chris Canty, Wahoo Wah. Osi Umenyiora, University of Troy.
Keith Bullock, Syracuse.
Jonathan Goff, Vanderbilt University.
Michael Boley, Southern Miss.
Corey Webster, LSU.
Kenneth Phillips, the U.
Antrell Roll, the U.
Terrell Thomas, USC.
That's a Giant defense that's knocked 5 quarterbacks out of games in the first half of the season. Second down and 7. And Vick gets hit as he throws, but gets it away. Macklin makes the catch, and he has a first down before Thomas can wrestle him out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And that was Deion Grant on a safety blitz who got to Vick, but too late.
Yeah, they had everybody coming on this one. You've got Tuck standing up. You've got Grant coming here. Everybody coming in. But this is a really impressive play by Mike Vick. They brought the all-out blitz. He saw the blitz read, got the ball out of his hand, and made a positive play out of it. The Eagles like going deep so much when they see blitz situations. Those underneath throws should be there.
Vick has started 3 out of 4 for 30 yards. Keep it himself, following McCoy into the line, and that's Roll coming up from the safety spot to knock him down as he crosses the line of scrimmage, gain of 1.
Well, Jason Avant usually can do a great job cutting this off, but not when Roll does this. He's going to sneak up and catch this play from behind. And this is the kind of pressure the Giants are going to have to keep on these guys tonight. Last week, I thought Washington allowed Mike Vick to sort of sit back there and just make plays, move around, buy time, get his receivers down the field. You can't do that with this guy.
Second down and 9. Vick was slinging out to the left side to his running back McCoy. Nifty moves to the inside to pick up the first down. Giants protecting the outside of the field, and back he comes toward the middle, finally tackled by Rocky Bernard, and that's a first down, gain of 10.
Did you see that throw by Mike Vick? He's facing forward, and he's going to throw one sideways without even taking a step and put a lot on it. Matter of fact, he got so much on the football, really gave the defensive back, Corey Webster, no chance to make that play. Just a remarkable arm and kind of a weird motion that Mike Vick throws from, but he has plenty on it.
158 passes thrown by Vick this season, no interceptions. Off play action. Look at that time. Vick throwing a little too high and nearly intercepted. He tried to get it to Clay Harbor, the tight end, and the pass over his head. Marty Mornhinweg, who scripted an Academy Award-winning performance last week. I tell you what, with Mornhinweg as the offensive coordinator, when you have a guy like Vick and he's playing like he is right now, Marty may eventually get another head coaching shot. Remember, he was in Detroit for 2 years, 2 forgettable seasons, has been here now under Reed for a number of years, and he could be a hot guy again. First 15 last week. How's that for balance and proficiency? and McCoy gets taken down at the line of scrimmage. Jonathan Goff in the middle, 54, making the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, Winston Justice that time just missed the block on Jonathan Goff. They had something going pretty well, and Justice tried to get the cutoff on Goff and just was unable to get there. But now you get the Giants defense in the situation that they want. Now they're 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. The entire playbook is open. Let's see if they have the guts to come after Michael Vick here.
4:40 to go in the scoreless first quarter. Vick, protection's good, throws, caught, 15-yard line. Jackson gets in front of Corey Webster. 1st down.
I don't know exactly what O.C. Umenyiora is doing on this play. He's out here, and he's going to run all the way to New York almost. Got me. He ran himself. I mean, we have pretty wide camera lenses, and he kind of ran all the way out of the picture. So far, the story for me in this one, Al, is the New York Giants, very good pass rushing team, has really not been able to get there against Mike Vick.
Vick has had a ton of time and is 5 of 7. That one right on the mark for 53 yards. Play action. Vick throws underneath to McCoy, and McCoy gets taken down at the 9-yard line. Gain of 6. 2nd and 4.
I tell you why I would rather blitz Mike Vick and take my chances. Remember, he hasn't played that many games in this offense. I'd like to see if he and these young receivers know all the hot reads, understand this offense inside out, if they can handle all the different pressure looks. If they prove it, fine. But until then, I'm coming after him a little bit.
Well, let's see if Perry Fuel dials up a few blitzes. 2nd down and 4. Jackson now sets in the backfield. Fake toss to him and give it to McCoy. And McCoy will fight his way for a 1st down inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal.
Well, this is a play the Eagles have really grown to like here. They take their superstar, Deshaun Jackson, and motion him into the backfield. You're talking about the ultimate decoy. Anytime Jackson comes back in here, all eyes are on him. So now they're going to fake the toss to him, hand it inside to McCoy, and pick up a big 1st down.
Phillies had the ball for almost 7 minutes. This will be the 12th play. Eldra Buckley comes in as the running back. The fake to him. Vick is chased, and Vick will then throw this one away because the heat was on. 2nd and goal.
On-trail roll again coming off the edge, and I kind of like that idea. You know, there's only so much a defensive lineman can do, but you put a safety or a corner chasing Mike Vick, all of a sudden that starts to feel like something that might work. You know, athletically now, he can stay in the game with Mike Vick as opposed to some of those big guys.
McCoy now in the backfield with Vick on 2nd down and goal. Jackson top of the screen. Macklin at the bottom. And Vick is going to take off. Gets around the corner. Touchdown. Again, pick your poison with Vick.
It's a terrible play, though, by Michael Boley. You have to understand who you're playing in this game. This is not an ordinary guy. Your job is contain. Let the other guys inside do their job. Tackle him on the inside. He allows him to bounce outside and score a touchdown. Deshaun Jackson, kind of blocked.
Screen Webster and might have held him as well, but there's no flag. It's the end of a 7-minute, 9-second, 68-yard drive. And Akers tacks on the extra point. 2:16 to go in the opening quarter. In Philadelphia, the Eagles jump on top of the Giants, 7-0. Tomorrow night, Jay Leno welcomes Taylor Swift and Dane Cook, and then The Rock will be there and share as well later in the week. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno weeknights right here on NBC. Philadelphia. Jackson getting a little re-wrap. He's caught 2 for 36 yards, and there's Boley who got run out of that last play. Loss contained. Vick around the corner. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Akers to send it down to Will Blackman. Darius Renard inactive tonight, so Blackman will do the run backs for the Giants, both punts and kickoffs, and he gets spilled at the 20-yard line. Colt Anderson comes down to make the tackle. Little scrum breaks out.
All right, now it's officially a Giants-Eagles.
Yeah. A scrum before the Redskin-Eagle game that got a lot of play last week. That Eagle D run by Sean McDermott took over last year for the late Jim Johnson. Most takeaways in the NFL over the last year and a half. The Giants have gone 3 and out twice. Now on their 3rd series, they get their first down. That is Hakeem Nicks hauling it in up at the 34-yard line to move the chains.
There's no doubt Will Beatty right out here is going to have a big night tonight. The one guy that the Giants traditionally have never been able to handle, of course, if you hold it helps, is that guy right there, Trent Cole, who has been really one of the more underrated players in this league for a long time now. And they have been fishing for answers of how to stop him.
From the 35-yard line, Bradshaw, and there's a flag. And of course, they'll have to fish tonight without Dave Deal, without Sean O'Hara. And do it with Andrews for as much as he can play. And Beatty. Ron Winter.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And speaking of Andrews, there is the longtime Eagle. Hurt a lot, went through bouts of depression, and finally Andy Reid said, hey, I really love the guy, but I had to cut my losses.
Well, you know, he had 2 back surgeries, and he never really played, and you see the arm get hooked in there. But I'm going to tell you what, last week against DeMarcus Ware and the Dallas Cowboys, I thought he was tremendous, and he didn't practice at all this week, had an epidural. The back injury flared up again, but if he can come close to matching what he did last week, it would be impressive.
Empty backfield, and the pass is caught. Here is Nicks breaking the tackle up to the 43-yard line. Got by Quentin Michael. So it was 1st and 20. And that gets a good part of it back, 17 yards.
Watch how Nicks here, this is a pretty veteran move here. He finds the hole. He sees the corner, Asante Samuel, go chase that little fake screen thing. So he just settles in the hole. And Eli does a good job getting him the ball. He didn't panic. He understood what the situation was. Good play by Nicks.
Yeah, Samuel went after Bradshaw, had flanked to the outside. Nicks was playing inside. And he's able to beat the safety. And this time it is Brandon Jacobs. Jacobs getting his first carry of the night. He's playing about a third of the time, with Bradshaw doing most of the heavy lifting, with about 2/3 of the carries. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter in Philadelphia. End of 1. It's the Philadelphia Eagles 7, the New York Giants nothing. And Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kremer. Lincoln Financial Field. We start with a 3rd and 2 for the Giants at their own 43. And it's a direct snap to Bradshaw. And let's see if he picks up the first down. He lunges for a 2-yard gain. And they appear to spot the ball in first down territory and do. So signals Ron Winter.
This is the old play where the quarterback acts like it's going to go over his head and the running back gets it in between. I really thought it looked like that he had a pretty easy path to the outside, but Bradshaw, who we saw him in practice this week, and he looked like he could just barely move. I said, how is this guy going to play? And all the coaches were saying he does this every week, you know, just like Jim Brown. He looks like he can't even move anymore.
Bad feet. Eli sliding, looking, throwing, finding. Gain of 9 caught by Mario Manningham into Philadelphia territory to the 46-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, this Ernie Sims, the outside backer for the Philadelphia Eagles, coming off the edge here, is going to take on Brandon Jacobs and just cram him right back, force Eli to move. But that was a very calm move by Eli Manning. It was interesting talking to Sean McDermott. He said the plan used to always be blitz Eli because he would get rattled. He said lately we haven't seen that, though.
2nd and 1. Bradshaw behind Pasco, the fullback. And here is Ahmad, and Ahmad gets tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. It's Brandon Graham, good-looking rookie. He was their #1 draft choice, number 54, out of Michigan, who trips him up and makes it a 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, and Brandon Graham's been playing better. Remember, he was the starter at the beginning of the season, lost his job to Jaquay Parker, and there was a lot of changes in here. Moses Foku was also put into the starting lineup, Dimitri Patterson, and a lot of those changes really improved the run defense of the Philadelphia Eagles, made a big difference.
3rd and 1. Bradshaw, big hole inside the 40 and gets wrestled down by Patterson at the 29-yard line, and that's Bear Pasco, the fullback who leads the way.
Yeah, they got away with a little bit of a hold on this one too by Chris Nee. He's going to come out here and get a little hold on this one. You can see him just grab the helmet there of the linebacker Stuart Bradley is part of what made that hole so big. But Bear Pasco, a good block inside, but really the size of the hole, because Snee got away with one.
Jacobs back in now at the 29-yard line. Pasco sets up for leverage. And Jacobs follows him over the right side of the line to the 23-yard line.
Let's go back one more time and watch Stuart Bradley right here and see whether or not you feel like this is a legal play or not. Yeah, probably not. But the old father-in-law probably liked it just fine because it worked.
Quentin Michael is the injured Eagle. Ended up going to the Super Bowl that season and lost to New England. 2nd down and 4. And Manning throws to the outside and Pasco makes the catch. And that speaks to what we call hidden yardage. The Chargers are 4 and 5. The Giants 6 and 3, even though they're 1-2. And a lot of that has to do with turnovers, net punting, penalties, and all of the rest. But when you take a look at the offense and the defense, they have to be very happy where they are right now.
And the one surprise, I think, has been that a Tom Coughlin team has had the number of turnovers that this Giants team has. You look at the rest of the numbers, and they're exceptional. That's the one issue they have to fix.
Right. A Tom Coughlin team through the years would average about 1.5 turnovers a game. Over the last 20 games, they're averaging 2.5. And that's caught on a 1st down by Hakeem Nicks. Quentin Michael back in the game for Philadelphia. Tackle made there by Dimitri Patterson. 1st and goal.
Let's see if Hakeem Nicks gets away with one here. A little contact at the end. Patterson working. You can see the arms extended, and it was close. Kind of tough to tell from that angle. A little push. Could have been called either way, but Nicks, a big physical guy, sometimes gets away with those kind of plays, and that was a key conversion.
Nicks 3 catches, and then he had that catch on the first series of the game where he could have stayed in bounds but stepped out. And to the 5-yard line goes Brandon Jacobs, who's been the Giants' premier running back over the past couple of seasons. But this year it's been a flip. Bradshaw 1, Jacobs 2.
This has been the play that's been working so far. Up on the linebacker here, they have been working this right side. And remember, that is where they have the experience. Kareem McKenzie, Chris Snee, Rich Seibert, all those guys have been over there. Bear Pasco working at the fullback position. They're going to stay to their strength.
Good sustained drive by the Giants. They've had the ball more than 7 minutes. This drive began at their 20-yard line. Jacobs in the backfield. Jacobs again. They work the right side, but this time Philadelphia is right there. A bunch of green shirts all there to meet him. 3rd down.
Real nice play by Stuart Bradley here. Watch him run across the formation here. Very patient, sees the back, sees him. Once he makes the cut, he meets him in the hole and drives him backwards. Pretty impressive when you're talking about a running back that weighs probably 250, 260.
Almost like Bradley heard it. He figures they're going to work the right side, so he looks to the left side, doesn't buy the fake, and he's right there on the right side of the Giants offense. 3rd and goal. Manning, time, throws, incomplete. In the end zone, intended for Kevin Voss. He was covered by the rookie safety, Nate Allen, and the Giants will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Well, I tell you what, it looks like the Eagles possibly got away with one here. There's Kevin Voss coming down. A lot of contact down the field. Maybe they're simply saying Nate Allen going for the football, but he really kind of cut that route off underneath. Going to let him play tonight. I guess this is the NFC East. Let him go.
And a little behind him. 24-yard attempt. Lawrence Tynes bangs it through. So with 9:10 to go in the opening half, the Eagles 7 and the Giants 3.
Getting some programming going on NBC. How about that one?
I like that.
For my people.
She's great.
Oh, she is.
Kevin Gilbride going over the pictures on the sideline. Sage Rosenfels is the backup quarterback. Started the season at Minnesota and came over when Jim Sorgi went on injured reserve. There's a bouncing ball and the kickoff rolling to the 11-yard line. And this is Ellis Hobbs. And he gets racked up at the 12-yard line by Clint Sintum. 9:06 to the half. 7-3 Eagles.
We all remember this one from last week. Mike Vick to Deshaun Jackson. But look at the time Mike Vick had. It was really the key. Plenty of time to set up. 4.8 seconds. Look how far this thing ends up going in the air. But the key is the distance that Deshaun Jackson can run from the moment that ball was thrown. He got almost 30 yards in less than 3 seconds with that ball in the air and ran right by LaRon Landry, who's one of the faster players in the league.
Longest touchdown pass in the opening minute of an NFL game in over 41 years since Roman Gabriel hit Wendell Tucker back in 1969. They were off to the races on Monday, and this is Macklin making the catch. He gets taken down at the 21-yard line. Vick to Jackson through week 10. 2/3 of the passes have been complete. 15.6, highest for a quarterback to a receiver in the NFL. 4 touchdowns. And there's Vick's passer rating. Now remember, Kevin Cobb, you keep forgetting, Cobb was the quarterback at the start of the year. Concussion. Vick came in. He was then the quarterback. Then he had the rib injury against Washington. He was out for 3 weeks. Got the job back after the bye. Well, and you know the rest. 2nd and 1. Under pressure, scrambling away, buying time deep downfield, and he overthrows Jackson. So the play was extended. Jackson kept on moving. He beats Webster down the sideline, but Vick can't get it to him. 3rd and 1.
You've got to tackle Mike Vick when you get a chance. Otherwise, you're dead on the back end. Antrell Roll is going to come right off the edge, gets a dead shot. Vick is looking the other way. You miss him there. Jason Pierre-Paul misses him. And now your secondary has to cover about 70 yards of ground down the field. And according to Mike Vick, that would officially be the first time in his life he ever overthrew Deshaun Jackson.
3rd and 1. Vick. And this time they get him at the 20-yard line. He can't escape. It looked like Pierre-Paul was the first guy there, and then Tuck finishes him off.
Well, and that really was the key. Justin Tuck did what they didn't do earlier, and that is cut off Mike Vick. You have to stop him. Doesn't matter if you catch him, just stop him and send him back into the other guys, because a guy like Jason Pierre-Paul, a tremendous athlete, now you squeeze him in there. 2 guys can tackle him, 1 can't.
So they went from 2nd and 1 to incomplete to a loss of 2 to 4th down on the punt. Sav rocket a punt. Will Blackman back for the Giants. And the former Aussie rules star with a low kick as a flag down, and then Blackman is whacked at the 35-yard line. Moses Foku was there, but a flag down at the inception of the play all the way downfield at the 35-yard line of the Giants. And Blackman pays this price.
You know, and he's trying to do the right thing, stopping the ball, but
holding number 31, the receiving team. A 10-yard penalty. First down.
But you don't do it like that. That was high risk.
Penalty on Aaron Ross halfway through the quarter. Tough town, as we all know. So look at Andy Reid, second longest tenure in the 4 major sports. Connie Mack, of course, with an unbeatable record, managed the Athletics for 50 years. And it's real simple. He owned the team, so he wasn't going to fire himself. But there's Reid in that number 2 spot. Andy in his 12th year. Came in 99. Now the Giants. Manning throws, and it is caught and then fumbled to the 45-yard line. And now they're going to say incomplete. No possession. Derek Hagan making, for the moment, what appeared to be the catch, and then Joselio Hansen able to dislodge the ball, and it's ruled an incomplete pass.
Now remember, simultaneous possession would have gone to the offense, and it looked like Hagan was going to get it for a minute, but Joselio Hansen did a nice job ripping that thing out of there. And again, they're basically fishing for that slot receiver. They're trying Derek Hagan in there now. He was just picked up this week. They are trying whatever they can to find an answer in there.
3 years in Miami for Hagan, and here goes Ahmad Bradshaw, and Bradshaw loses the ball. And recovered by Philadelphia at the 23-yard line. Asante Samuel. 6 fumbles this season for Bradshaw, the most in the NFL.
Great job by Brandon Graham, the young rookie in here. He understood the guy was getting held up, and watch this. Just rip that baby right out of there. And for Ahmad Bradshaw, the fumbling issues continue. Now, he didn't get that ball away from his body, but it has been a major factor this season.
Michael stands him up. Graham rips it out. Samuel recovers. And Vic has a short field to work with now at the 23-yard line.
If you're around this game long enough, you know there are times when you just have to get on the ground when you're in a vulnerable position.
Off play action. And Vic running to his right. Looked like he was going to escape for just a second, and then Deion Grant comes up to pop him at the 20-yard line after a gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, they did pop him, and they got what they want. Do you see what Mike Vick did there? When he runs to his right, he tends to not think so much about a pass. He almost tucks the ball away here. When he goes to his left, he tends to look down the field, keep the play alive, and try and run it a little more. But here's your opportunity. Mike Vick ducking his head. Deion Grant with a good shot. They'll take a bunch of those for 3 yards.
Get him to go against the grain. 2nd down and 7. And it is LaShawn McCoy who can't get out of the backfield. Umanura and Bernard are both there. 3rd and 7.
Boy, what a play that time by Osi Umanura right here on the outside. Just takes the tight end and just drives him straight backwards and comes off and makes the play, working against Brent Selleck there.
Osi Umanura wanted to forget about last year. Had issues with Bill Sheridan, who was the defensive coordinator. Much better season this year. 3rd down and 7. And Vic guns it over the middle and incomplete. And Jackson goes to the ground and slams the ground, figuring he should have come up with it. Vic just off target. 4th down.
Well, they love these deep crossing routes. They're going to take their speed and go across the field. They did a great job that time. LaShawn McCoy picking up the blitz and really had an opportunity. That's 2 now to Deshaun Jackson for big plays and probable touchdowns that they missed that they did not miss a week ago against the Redskins.
David Akers, one of the best kickers in the league for years, but against the Giants, he's had a lot of trouble. 38-yard field goal attempt, trying to make it a 7-point game, and Akers this time is true. So they get 3 points off the turnover, 5.5 left in the half. 10-3, Philly. Third Sunday night of November. 5.5 to go in the opening half. Philadelphia coming off that 59-point outburst against Washington. Different game tonight. 10-3 as Blackman is back and David Akers will kick it to him. Blackman, who got a real shot the last time he handled the ball. Wow. Looks like he's feeling the effects of it. Stumbles up to the 16-yard line.
Not good. And of course, he's sort of the backup return guy. Darius Renaud was the guy that has the hamstring injury, and for Blackman, this has not been such a good night so far.
Tom Coughlin, we talked about the turnovers before against the Eagles, and the Eagles have won 4 straight games, including a playoff game at 3-3-4-1, and the one tonight, the fumble by Bradshaw, leading to a field goal. Tom's seen enough of this special team stuff.
May have seen enough of Bradshaw too.
Yeah, Jacobs is in the game, at least for a moment. Jacobs is the back. The ball is at the 17-yard line. Brandon Jacobs to the short side of the field, and he will go nowhere. Moses Foku, drafted in the 7th round out of Maryland. Second-year guy making his presence felt in that Philadelphia D.
Yeah, they really felt like that he was so much more a physical presence than was Akeem Jordan, who was the starter at the beginning of the year. But you could really see how much better this team was defensively, almost like 50-60 yards better per game second half of the season against the run compared to the first half of the season.
Jordan now on special teams, and he's their leading tackler on that unit. Second down and 12. The ball is at the 15. And that is picked off at the 23-yard line. Asante Samuel. And nobody likes to gamble as much as that guy. He's been doing it for years. Picked his spot. Came up on the pass and the pickoff for Philadelphia.
He's been doing it for years. He is the X factor. Every quarterback should fear him because you never know what he's going to do. You remember him with Bill Belichick all those years, all those trick defenses. But Asante Samuel, when he was in New England, went to Belichick and said, please let me play off coverage, not bump and run, so I can look at the quarterback's eyes and see what he's seeing, and I'll make plays. And it's just like that one right there.
6 interceptions this season for Samuel.
Eli's older brother knows a little something about throwing that way too. He's paid the price with Asante a few times.
From the 13, quickly to the outside. Pass is caught. That is Clay Harbor, rookie out of Missouri State, drafted in the 4th round, the tight end number 82.
Boy, Asante Samuel, over the past 5 years, nobody has been better. He just simply has a knack. Now, does he give up plays? He does, but he's found a magical combination in the back with Quentin Michael. Those guys oftentimes will switch responsibilities. If Asante thinks that he sees something on the outside, he'll give Quentin Michael a little sign and say, cover for me. I'm going to try and jump this one, and he makes plays like that.
Now you've got Jackson and Macklin both split to the left side, but now Macklin comes in motion. And they'll keep it on the ground. And it's LaShawn McCoy getting the ball to the 5-yard line. Under 4 minutes now remaining in the opening half.
And for Eli Manning, it really, when you look out there, you begin to say, why do I go that way? You know, why do I do that? I've got a young guy and Dimitri Patterson on the other side. Let's take some shots over there. I think Asante Samuel, we were talking to him, he said, I don't think they're going to throw my way at all tonight. Well, they did, and they paid.
Samuel and D'Angelo Hall of Washington leading the league with 6 each. Hall, of course, had 4 in one game. Jackson's in the backfield. Vick throws over the middle, and wide open is Jason Avant. And that is man bites dog news, because Jason Avant almost never drops a pass.
But he's dropped 3 of them this year, which is way more than he has in the past. Right here, you're going to get a crossing route underneath, and they simply lose Jason Avant in the backfield. Nobody to cover him. Let it get in on his body, and it's just hard to believe. One of the guys that a year ago you would have said maybe has the best hands in all of football, caught everything, left in the prone position.
Just watching a show last night with Jackie Smith in the end zone.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it reminds you of. In the Super Bowl, 24-yard attempt for Akers, who almost started early and then just barely is able to knock it through. It was going to be snapped the moment before. He was able to recover and bang it through. So the Giants are lucky that it wasn't 7 at the end. Instead it's 3, and it's 13-3. In a trade that day, Phillip Rivers coming the other way, and there are the numbers tonight. And the Giants are lucky they're only down by 10 after those 2 turnovers deep in their own territory. The fumble by Bradshaw, the interception, and the defense able to limit Philadelphia to 6 instead of maybe 14.
Yeah, a couple of missed passes to Deshaun Jackson as well that we haven't seen the Eagles miss. This one could have been a blowout already.
Akers kicks. The ball dies at the 7-yard line and comes back, and Blackman is there, but he can't get out of his tracks, and down he goes at the 11-yard line. Great coverage again by Philadelphia. Well, you know, part of that reason that we're talking about the Giants and the Chargers 1-2 in both offense and defense. With San Diego, it's all about special teams. That's the reason they're 4-5, and a lot of why the Giants are having their issues is special teams.
Yeah, and Will Blackman's having big issues tonight, man. At some point, get it and go. You're kind of dancing around back there. You keep leaving your team on the 13-yard line. It's hard enough against the Eagles.
3:05 remaining in the half. The Giants have all of their timeouts. Manning guns it over the middle into traffic, and he gets it to Hagan, and Hagan is blanketed that time by Quentin Michael.
Well, one of the remarkable things about Derek Hagan is he just watched the Giants on television. He was let go, and he stayed tuned, watched every game on TV. He said, I know all these routes. I know what they're doing. When they made adjustments, he picked it up, and he is out there starting basically on 2 or 3 days practice in the toughest position in this offense other than quarterback.
Has some experience, 3 years in Miami, 4th year in the league overall. Out of Arizona State. Whoa! Asante Samuel gives him a greeting, and now you've got a flag thrown at the end of that play.
First of all, this is a hot read. You get this one coming, but Asante Samuels knows that as well. I do believe it was helmet to helmet.
Yep, led with his helmet, and that's what they call. Exactly.
But that's what happens when you play divisional opponents. They know your route, and they know your hot reads as well as you do. See if there's helmet to helmet. No question about it. Good call by the officials.
Helmet to face mask. Amazing. Hagan holds on to the ball.
Here's the blitz. Here's the hot read. Asante Samuel sees it. He knows what's coming. He knows he has to get it out of there. Makes a great play. But you can't do this. You can't be that high on these defenseless receivers. Big break for the Giants.
33-yard line. That could bring Duke Calhoun into the game. He's at the bottom of the screen, flanked wide to the left. And looking in that direction, and then that is juggled, and that's almost picked off the deflection. And there is Duke Calhoun, a rookie out of Memphis.
Well, and Duke Calhoun didn't know what he was doing a week ago. I'd like to sugarcoat it a little bit, but he just simply did not know what he was doing, made a lot of mistakes. They've simplified it for him this week, and then he comes out and drops the ball. So it has not been such a good 7 or 8 day period for him.
Duke out, and Hagan comes back in. 2nd and 10. Bradshaw takes the inside handoff and goes nowhere. Taken down by Ernie Sims. Darryl Tapp also in on the play, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning in Philadelphia in the battle for first. Crowd still upset about that call. 13-3, Eagles. The Toyota halftime show. Take a look at Tom Brady over Manning and the Colts in Foxborough. Donovan McNabb and the Skins win in OT. Bob on another improbable Jets win. Tony and Rodney in the studio on the Toyota halftime show. Here it's 3rd down and 10. And Manning throws, and that's incomplete. It was juggled and incomplete, intended for Kevin Boss. Had it just for a split second. Stuart Bradley with the coverage right in his face with the coverage.
Boy, what a difference Stuart Bradley has made. You see on the outside, Trent Cole's going to get a little pressure. But Stuart Bradley, earlier this season, we saw him. He couldn't run like that. He couldn't get down the field coming off of that knee injury. His improvement, along with the improvement of Ernie Sims, has made a huge difference for the Eagles defensively.
Came off the knee injury that cost him the year and also had a concussion on opening day. Missed some time with that. And this kick will bound into the end zone off the foot of Matt Dodge. Some defensive coordinator of the Eagles, a graduate of LaSalle right here in town.
Go watch some high school football if you get a chance. A lot of fun. Go support them.
45-degree night, ball to the 20-yard line. Eagles up by 10. Vic fires over the middle, and breaking free over the middle is Macklin for a big, long gain. And puts his hands up as he and Kenny Phillips start to tug at each other. That is a gain of 35 to the 45-yard line.
This Eagles offensive line has been brilliant tonight. Absolutely brilliant. They're passing off those games inside. These deep crossing routes that the Eagles are hitting take a good 4 or 5 seconds almost to throw, and Mike Vick is standing in there and not even getting hit after the throw. The Giants have to get it going with this pass rush. They cannot win like this.
In a 4-man front, will they send anybody here beside the lineman? No, they don't. 4 rush, 7 back. Vick finds a hole. And he's close to a first down. He is stopped just short of the 35-yard line. And timeout is taken here by Philadelphia. 2nd and 1 when we come back. So 2nd down and inches coming up from the 35-yard line. Eagles have 2 timeouts. Giants are down by 10. And Philadelphia will be getting the ball when we start the second half.
What a job they are doing up front. Mike McGlynn, Nick Cole, a couple of guys, maybe question marks coming in. Todd Harriman's. They've been outstanding.
Vick, good time again. Macklin spun down 15-yard line. First down. Terrell Thomas making the tackle.
Winston Justice, who had such a day against OCU Manura a few years ago. Watch him inside here. He's got the feed. He stays with him. Mike Vick is not even getting hit after the throw.
Number 15. Vick on a roll. Line does its job again, but this time the coverage is good by the Giants. Pass is thrown away, but there are 2 penalty markers down.
Oh, Todd Harriman may have clipped.
Personal foul. Clipping. Offense number 79.
Yeah.
15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
2 officials saw it.
Yeah, Chris Canny was kind of getting away, and Todd Harriman just took a shot at him right on the back of the knees, and obviously a very dangerous play. Big mistake for an offensive line that has been playing so well here. But at least the way this Eagles offense is playing right now, there's probably no problem to pick it up.
And it's worse than a hold because it costs you 5 extra yards. 1st and 25 with the ball at the 30-yard line. Giants blitz, and the pass is incomplete. So they put a little heat on him that time. He tried to get it to Macklin, and down he goes. Barry Cofield gets to him.
Yeah, and that's the position you want out of Mike Vick. You want Mike Vick on the ground, very slow to get up. They get that amoeba defense going. They're going to bring 7. Let's see if Mike Vick knows all his hot reads. Let's see if these young receivers know how to break it off, how to come up with it. Off his back foot, get a shot on Mike Vick. That's not all bad. Bang his head off the back of the grass there. If you're going to win, you got to go get him.
2nd and 25 with 44 ticks to the half. Pressure again. Here they come. Vick gets it away, and it is juggled by Macklin and dropped. Just for a moment, just for a split second. Looked like he was going to be able to haul it in, and Terrell Thomas with the coverage on him. Aaron Ross that time on the corner blitz gets to Vick.
Right on the outside, it's Macklin, and watch this play by Terrell Thomas. This is just man up. This is what the Giants did all week in practice. Mike Vick, when he gets that all-out blitz look, all he does is throw the ball in the air. He thinks his receivers are better than your secondary guys. That time, Terrell Thomas was the better man.
So now 3rd down and 25. Giants coming again. Force Vick to his right. And Vick gets tripped at the 25-yard line. O.C. Umenyiora chases him down. So again, Philadelphia will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
That's a great call that time by Perry Fuel. He brings pressure off the left side, forces Mike Vick to the right. He doesn't throw as well when he's moving to the right. You end up letting him run the football. What the heck? It's all good. 4th down. Nice call.
And now Philadelphia is going to take a timeout as they let the clock run all the way down to 3 seconds to not give the Giants any time on the other side.
Go back to that last play for a second here. We'll show you the blitz. Watch, this is the game plan. Come this way, bring the pressure, force Mike Vick out here. He tends to run the ball and not throw it, moving to his right. You got 3rd and very long. There he is, open field, free shot time. All good.
Big clipping call on Harriman's because it looked like Philadelphia was going to move in for maybe a touchdown. And the Giant defense now, even if Akers makes this, at least that Giant D has been able to keep this as a 2 and not 3 possession game. This will be a 42-yard attempt for Akers. Sav Rocket is the holder. John Dornbus is the snapper. And that is blocked. And then it is picked up. It's picked up by Webster. And Webster is forced out of bounds as the half ends. So the Giant defense was big twice after the 2 turnovers. Defense big here. Special teams comes up with a big block, and it remains at 13-3. Is it Thomas who blocks it? Terrell Thomas comes in. Indeed it is.
Great job, but I will say this, Corey Webster should have known what the clock was. A lateral was in order running that ball back.
So the halftime show coming up next. And now we go to the start of the 3rd quarter with Philadelphia on top 13-3. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Al Michaels, Cris Collinsworth, and Andrea Kremer, Lincoln Financial Field, South Philadelphia. 45-degree night. Tom Coughlin's team, Andy Reid's team, vying for undisputed possession of first place in the NFC East. Winner of the game goes to 7-3. Giants to kick off. Philadelphia to get the ball. Ellis Hobbs to run it back. Second half underway in Philadelphia. Hobbs from the 5. Flag. to the 23, and then the ball is loose at the 23-yard line. Ron Winter trying to get to the bottom of the pile and find out who has the football. And a flag as well on the play.
I think it is a fumble.
Well, it's still going to be, regardless, it's going to be the Eagles' ball. And then we'll see about the call here. And you also have Hobbs down. He's been hurt, and he's hurt again.
For 71, Dave Tollefson's going to come in here at the end and just take that ball directly out of the hands. You could see him just sort of pull it out, and I don't know what happened to it from there. Somehow he lost it after he had it. Got the hit. The ball is going to come right into his lap.
During the kick, unsportsmanlike conduct, illegal wedge block. Receiving team penalized half the distance from the foul. First down.
We only have 2 guys. New rule this year.
I'll tell you what, Ellis Hobbs, I think, just got knocked out. Took a shot right to the head and just collapsed.
So Hobbs down, injury timeout, 7 seconds into the third quarter. And as we come back, unfortunately, Ellis Hobbs is still down on the field, running back to kick, taking a shot. They're going to bring the card out to take him back to the locker room. He's missed the last 2 games with a hip flexor. And here.
But you see the helmet-to-helmet hit by Tollefson. Now, I've got to emphasize that's a legal play. It's not a defenseless player, so it is a legal play. But for Ellis Hobbs, he finished last year on injured reserve with a neck injury. So I'm sure this is anxious time for his family. We have seen him moving his hands and his legs.
And of course, considering the history, there's extra precaution being taken here, but they will put him on the board and then take him back into the locker room. Hobbs is still down. The only encouraging thing is he actually tried to lift up a moment ago, and then Andy Reid came out there and he said, just stay there. Medical staff is there. Don't try to get up right now. Just stay there. Let them do what they have to do. But, you know, in a time like this, you just look for anything that's encouraging, and at least he was moving. And both teams have come out to the area around the 23-yard line. Here it was about a minute and a half ago while we're in the break. He wanted to get up, and no, they said no, stay there. And then Andy Reid comes in and says no. So he was talking to the medical folks. Finally get him onto the board and strap him onto the board, and then get him back to the locker room first, and we'll see from there. And Andy, reflective of what a lot of the guys have done over the past couple of minutes, just say a little prayer for Hobbs. Well, it's been about 10 minutes since the end of the run back, and Ellis Hobbs is on the board and being taken back to the locker room. You know, Chris, all you can say at a time like this, and we don't know what it is, and you know we'll find out what we can. Obviously, we've seen a lot of these through the years, and you can only hope. I mean, occasionally it's a lot better than you think it is. It's a lot better than it looks, and the guy's going to be fine. And I know we've seen some hellacious injuries and situations where guys have gone off like this, and sometimes they even come back next week. So all you can do is hope and pray for him. And there he is, sending his response back to the crowd.
That's great. But for anyone who would ever question what the commissioner or the NFL is trying to do to eliminate those helmet-to-helmet hits, and again, I want to emphasize that was not an illegal hit on that one. It was a ball carrier in the open field. But what the league is doing to try and eliminate those kinds of hits is the right thing, and people should quit arguing about it.
And again, we'll get a report on Hobbs as quickly as we can. And as play resumes, the ball is at the 7-yard line. Clay Harbor recovered the fumble, so Philly keeps possession. And the penalty off the wedge takes them all the way back inside their 10. And the catch is made here by Jackson with Corey Webster covering on the play. Some of the numbers through the first half. Giants fortunate to only be down by 10. Rush yards are even. Philly about 2-1 in passing. And there's 2 big turnovers, but that Giant defense limited the Eagles to 2 field goals. 2nd and 2 after the gain of 8. And Vick gets it away and picks up a first down on a pass to Macklin. It brings it out to the 32-yard line. Macklin able to break a tackle of Terrell Thomas, and for Macklin tonight, that's 6 catches for 89 yards.
This guy's not going to get a lot of credit, but the job he's done picking up Entrell Roll on some of these blitzes has allowed Mike Vick plenty of time to sit in there, make some of these quick throws. The Giants defensive backs justifiably are playing way off, so those throws are going to be there.
33. Screen. McCoy. And McCoy able to break free. And finally taken down at the 50-yard line as he runs into Webster. Philadelphia does a lot of screening, but not tonight. Here a rare screen pass, and McCoy is able to turn that in to a gain of 17.
Well, he's been stepping up and blocking, and now this time he steps up and goes on the screen. It's the first screen I believe we've seen all night, and the Eagles a huge screen team. You could see the frustration on the part of the Giants. They finally get close to Mike Vick, and there goes the screen right over their head.
At the 50 now, and you've got a penalty.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's Mike McGlynn, who is the center. He's done a pretty good job this year in place of the injured Jamal Jackson.
Yeah, Andy Reid gave him the ultimate compliment the other day when we were talking to him. He called him a dirtbag. And for Andy, that's high praise. You're talking about an offensive lineman. He said he's the captain of the team. He said, I told him just go out there without his helmet on. Maybe the Giants won't even play.
On 1st and 15. Vick, quick drop, quick pass. Macklin makes his 7th catch. Thomas with the coverage on the play.
No question about it. I thought the first half was won by the Eagles for this reason. Mike Vick had all day to throw the ball. Some of these routes took over 5 seconds to develop down the field. But watch Mike. He's just standing there, bouncing around. Nobody close. There you go. Complete that one in there to Deshaun Jackson. Plenty of time. No pass rush whatsoever. Brilliant job up front.
Got a few shots in him, though. 1 sack, and this time he's not ready for the snap. There's the flag. Macklin makes the catch, but he has no place to roam. Webster is right there. So Vick not looking for the snap, and a flag.
Offside. Defense number 26. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
And probably not looking because Entrell Roll was creeping across the line. Now let's get an update on Hobbs from Andrea Kremer. Andrea.
Well, Al, Ellis Hobbs has a neck injury. They took him in for an x-ray. He gave a thumbs up as he was going in, and we will keep you posted as we get more information.
All right, thank you. And Cris, of course, mentioned that was the reason that he wound up on IR last season, so extra precaution. Again, he'd missed the last 2 games with a hip flexor. And we'll keep you updated on what we find out about Ellis Hobbs. 2nd down and 3. After the offside penalty, and Vic fires over the middle and too high and too far outside. Deion Grant that time came in and hit Vic again. 3rd down.
Well, they're trying to bring the pressure, but on the outside, when you do that, it is heavy risk reward. When you start bringing those safeties, you're ending up with Deshaun Jackson on a safety on the outside, and you just hold your breath. I understand the dilemma for Perry Fuel. You know, you want to blitz him. You've got all these plans, but boy, it takes guts to try and cover these wideouts one-on-one.
3rd and 3. Savant coming into the slot with Jackson outside. And Vic going underneath to Avant. And Avant takes it all the way to the 29-yard line and a 1st down. 15 yards on a 3rd down play. 3rd and 3 it was.
Watch Jason Peters on the inside there make this block. That little hesitation move is what Umanura has been known for. And Jason Peters, I talked to him the other day, he said, I'm not going to move. He's going to do it. He's going to try and hesitate, maybe think he's coming inside, but I know he's going to try and run around me. I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to wait, and he's played it perfectly so far tonight.
Only the Eagles' 2nd 3rd down conversion, 2 out of 7 on 3rd down tonight. 4 minutes into the period. 1st and 10. Vic stepping up. They flush him to his right. Pump fakes. And then gets dropped at the 25 after a gain of 3 yards by Roll.
Well, once again, the one thing they don't want Mike Vick doing is scrambling to his left. So you're going to see Umanura stay really wide here. He kind of gets triple teamed, but once again, they get what they want here. Michael Vick scrambling to his right. He tends to run it more than throw it, and there's another big shot on him. On trail roll this time, delivering the blow. There's been a lot of body blows on him. The Giants just need a play. They need a turnover. They need a sack. They need something to get it turned around.
2nd and 6. Inside handoff to McCoy, and he's able to slither through to the 19, making it a 3rd and very short.
We're talking to LaShawn McCoy a little bit this week and what it's like to play with Mike Vick. He said, man, growing up, everybody my age was a Mike Vick fan. You know, he said, just you're in there in the huddle and he's calling plays and you're kind of thinking, oh, wow, I'm in here playing with Mike Vick. You forget how young some of these guys are for the Philadelphia Eagles. Macklin and McCoy and Deshaun Jackson and Brent Selleck. They're all kids and they are all talented.
Going to measure here as they give him a pretty good spot, but still a little short. You're going to get a lot of kids growing up these days, Cris, that they're going to play with guys who were in their fantasy league.
Sean McCoy, Deshaun Jackson. You watch them down there in pregame warm-up, and of course they're playing some hip-hop music, and they're all dancing. You know, they're all kind of moving around, and it just. They say it's like playing in college. LaShawn was saying it's just like playing in college. Everybody's our age. We go out and we have fun at night. And I said, does Mike Vick ever go with you? He said, no. He's studying the playbook and watching the film. That's all he's doing these days.
3rd and inches, and Vick is alone in the backfield. And he comes under center, and he's going to try to sneak for a 1st down. And the Giants are right there to stop him. It's going to be 4th down. Jason Pierre-Paul, the rookie out of South Florida, their #1 pick, was the guy who formed the wall.
Really good play that time by Justin Tuck, though, understanding exactly what the situation was. He's going to jump as soon as you see Mike Vick come up under center. Watch him. He's going to get down there, get low, get in that gap, and Mike Vick just could not get the push. Then Jason Pierre-Paul on the outside, wise enough to not let him fall forward. If he had, it would have been a 1st down.
Now the Eagles to go for it on 4th and inches from the 18-yard line. And Vic will do it again. And this time he sneaks over right guard and has it.
Boy, Nick Cole did a nice job that time. Big old guy. Watch him right in here. Just dig his way out of here with Jason Pierre-Paul. Good job by Mike McGlynn coming off as well. Those two guys, that key double team, that was a big one. That was the play the Giants really needed right there. Michael Boley tried to go over the top, but by that point it was too late.
How about that spacing along the offensive line that time? Everybody right next to each other. The pass to the outside is taken in by Jackson. That's Webster with that sure tackle to stop him at the line of scrimmage. This is the opening drive of the half. The Giants have not seen the football in the third quarter.
Yeah, Corey Webster got the assignment that he was going to get Deshaun Jackson one-on-one. They've had that in the past, and Eli over there cooling his jets on the bench. That's the best way to slow down this Giants offense that, pretty well documented. They're good, but they haven't been able to do much tonight against the Eagles.
Second and 11. Picked up the blitz, and then the pass is incomplete, intended for Jackson, who's covered by Grant. Grant that time in coverage. They sent the corner in. It's 3rd and 11.
Well, the other thing about Mike Vick and forcing him to throw some hot reads over here, this time we're going to get the little post inside. But these intermediate routes sometimes are tough for him. Remember, he's only about 6 feet tall. So if you get enough people kind of in his face, sometimes it's tough to see around. That time, Barry Cofield dropped out into coverage from his defensive tackle position. Mike had to throw it over his head, and he missed.
On 3rd and 11. That's caught at the 13-yard line. Jackson can get to the 10. That'll make it 4th down and 3 and send Akers and his friends back out to try to make it a 13-point game.
Well, 3rd and 11, all advantage goes to the defense because you can blitz, force them to throw hot, and then just make the tackle. There it is. They got everybody coming. As long as you can get Deshaun Jackson on the ground, which is admittedly a bit of a crapshoot, then you win.
So Akers, who had his kick at the end of the first half blocked by Terrell Thomas, will attempt this one from 28 yards away. Rocco puts it down, and that kick is close and just good. Philadelphia's had the ball for 8:20 the whole second half thus far.
Somebody needs to tell Will Blackman that too. Their kickoff returns tonight have just been terrible and left Eli in some really poor field position.
6:38 remaining in the quarter, so 8:22 officially. The Eagles' opening drive of the half, and the Giant defense has been able to keep this relatively close. At least it's a 2-possession game by limiting Philadelphia to 3 field goals and blocking another one.
Well, remember, this is a Giant offense that has had over 480 yards of offense in each of their last 3 games, and this Eagles defense has really just stuffed them tonight.
And that's been the story, the big story too, because Philadelphia's offense with just 1 touchdown, 3 field goals, and we'll see if Blackman can get something going here. Takes it out to the 32-yard line. Giants historically under Tom Coughlin, month by month, they start fast, and then November and December under 500, including the 2007 season. They didn't play that well at the end of the regular season, but you know how they played in January and February. Andy Reid, meanwhile, they started a little slowly, and then they pick it up at the end. And they've been the hot team through the years in the second half of the regular year, for the most part. From the 32-yard line, 1st down. Giants. Start with Bradshaw, runs into Pasco, and can only pick up a yard or so. 2nd and 9.
Tell you, these linebackers are really starting to attack the fullback. Remember in the first half, all the success that they had running off that right side? Well, now I think it was Moses Foku coming off the edge here and just took Bear Pasco and just stuffed him right into the running back, Ahmad Bradshaw. So the running game really has not been there, and these tight ends for the New York Giants not getting the job done blocking tonight.
Fake to Bradshaw. Time for Manning, and then he has to shovel it. Kind of a sideways toss to Bradshaw, who gets out to the 34-yard line. Dangerous, but it works, at least for a yard.
You ever been to Highlight? It looks like Highlight right there. Chula, or whatever they called that thing.
Cesta.
Cesta, there you go.
Chula.
Oh, whatever it was. What's a chula?
It's something you'd eat in a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, okay, well, it wasn't a chula then.
With guacamole. 3rd and 7. Blitz coming. Manning gets it away, and it's caught. That's going to be a first down. Mario Manningham, coming off a 10-catch game last week against the Giants. He's been limited tonight. That's only his 3rd grab of the evening.
That time they got this blitz picked up. Watch the two guys on the outside here. Kevin Boss is going to get his. Bradshaw is going to get his. And anytime you get that, that means single coverage in the secondary. Manningham right there in the slot's going to come out, get just past the first down marker. Something he didn't do a week ago, if I remember correctly. And picked it up.
From the 45 on first down. And that's a 6-yard gain, and upending Kevin Boss is Asante Samuel, the 5'10", 185-pound Samuel, takes down the 6'6", 253-pound Boss. All right, the update now on Hobbs. Let's go back to Andrea.
Well, we're being told that Hobbs has full use of his extremities. He is still being examined by doctors here at the stadium. No results of the x-rays have been given to us yet.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. So Hobbs hurt on the run back of the second half kickoff. And that's the latest we have on him on 2nd down and 3. And Bradshaw will, with that second effort, cross the 45-yard line and move the chains.
Boy, Darryl Tapp that time came off and just stuffed this play, but I guess just couldn't quite finish it off. He had a perfect position, came off his block, drilled him, and little old Ahmad Bradshaw just kept it rolling.
First down at the Eagle 44-yard line. Blitz again. Manning stepping away, slides left, throws. Boss makes the catch, and that's a Giants first down to the 29-yard line. Bradley makes the tackle.
Well, once again, anytime you end up with a blitz, you're going to get single coverage. And that time you're going to see Eli Manning just buying enough time for his tight end to get down the field. He found the right matchup. Stuart Bradley, the middle linebacker, having to cover 20 yards down the field against a pretty good receiving tight end in Kevin Boss.
Now at the 29-yard line, first down. 2:25 left, 3rd quarter. To the outside on a short gain, and that's Nix, who hasn't caught a pass in quite a while. That's his 4th grab of the night for 47 yards.
It's a good job by Eli Manning. He saw the coverage rotate over to the right, comes back immediately to the left side, really didn't even have to look at Dimitri Patterson where he was. He knew by the rotation of the coverage the other way, he had exactly the coverage that he wanted, and picked up 6.
Manning averaging only about 5 and a fraction yards per pass, and that means the defense is doing a good job. 2nd down and 4. Bradshaw gets to the 21 and a flag at the 27. Ron Winter.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
It's Sean Andrews, the left tackle.
Well, and again, Sean Andrews did not get a chance to practice at all this week. Going to get his guy kind of hooked right there, and of course that's just way too obvious for the officials looking in that way. Really not even that significant a hold. Those are the ones that really hurt when you got the block made. There's no reason to do it. But he's done a pretty good job. We haven't mentioned Trent Cole's name a whole lot this evening, so would not be surprised if he could stay healthy if Sean Andrews could hold on to that left tackle position.
And really significant because instead of 3rd and 1, it's 2nd and 14 at the 33-yard line. And the pass to Nix, but that is sniffed out beautifully by that Philadelphia defense. It's the play fake, trying to run a pick. Dimitri Patterson is right there to break through it and stop him for no gain.
And he's saying, you got to go. We're going to get the block here, and this is supposed to work like this. But Nix really does not come back hard enough to this play, and he lets Patterson get back into him. You can see he almost tried to go back outside, which is the exact opposite of what you should do. But let's not underplay Dimitri Patterson. That was great.
3rd and 14, under a minute to go in the quarter.
Eli has thrown a lot of interceptions on 3rd down this year.
10, in fact. Escapes, throws into double coverage, and it's incomplete. And there is a flag. 2 flags, in fact, as you saw Michael and Hansen with Manningham on the play. Had him covered. Did they interfere with him?
I don't think there's any question about it. Quentin Michael got a little lost, got turned around, and just jumped right into Manningham.
Pass interference. Defense number 27. That lies at the spot of the foul and a 1st down.
We'll go right in here. You're going to see he kind of gets turned around and then is running back towards Manningham. And he's just going to make contact way before that play happened. You can see he's not looking at the ball at all. That's a routine call. And now the Giants with the break that they desperately needed. That was 3rd and very long.
A 31-yard penalty. 1st and goal. Jacobs is the running back. Fake to him. Pass. Caught. Touchdown. Travis Beckham. The tight end makes his first grab of the night, so the penalty is huge and turns it into a 1-possession game.
Pretty interesting play here. You've got Kevin Booth, the tackle, is going to come across the middle and basically pick off Stuart Bradley on that side as Travis Beckham comes across the formation for the touchdown. See Kevin Booth over there running a fancy little pick play.
Tynes with the extra point, and that one is just good. Everybody close tonight on both sides. Beckham's 2nd touchdown of the year makes it 16-10 Eagles. This Thursday, Eagles owner Jeff Lurie and his wife Christina announced that beginning next season, Lincoln Financial Field will become the first major sports stadium in the world to convert to self-generated renewable energy. The Eagles will affix 2,500 solar panels to the stadium's facade, place 120-foot wind turbines on the rim of the stadium, and install a dual-fuel cogeneration plant in time for the 2011 preseason. Now, you'd have thought that Jeff and Christina would have felt there was enough hot air coming out of this booth tonight that we could have powered the stadium.
We could blow any turbine out there, baby, believe me. Invite some of my other buddies from the broadcasting world. Phil Simms could contribute to that one, too.
Right. Bring them all in. Jeff's on the team since the mid-90s. They've had a lot of regular season success, playoff success, but still minus that one thing that he wants most of all, along with the fans here, the Lombardi Trophy. Ultra Buckley now running back kicks up to the 20-yard line. Quarterbacks 20 touchdown passes in 6 consecutive seasons or more. That is a pretty terrific list right there, including the great Len Dawson and his years at Kansas City, and Eli now in that club. 6 consecutive years, 20 touchdown passes or more.
Defense number 52.
Roll on the run back.
1st down.
Clint Sintum with an unnecessary roughness penalty, and that's going to cost the Giants 15.
Oh boy, Senham gave him a shot, and that was a flop, and people in the World Cup would have been proud of that one. Hell no. A lot of painful things happening tonight in this game. That wasn't one of them.
.33 now. Vic and the Eagles in the waning seconds of the third quarter. The pass is incomplete. Vic is now 17 out of 28 for 201.
Well, we see Mike Vick, and he does have a lot of success sort of scrambling around making plays, a lot of success throwing deep down the field. I think that the areas where he has struggled a little tonight has been obviously moving to his right and some of those shorter, quicker, intermediate passes where he has to find throwing lanes to make those throws.
2nd and 10. Jackson was limping back to the huddle, but he's out to the left now as Vic goes back to Macklin on the other side. And the flag is down. Ball comes out after the tackle at the 37-yard line.
During the run, holding, offense number 81. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Avant.
You know, it's almost hard to believe we saw each of these teams go the length of the field and all the. Take a look at the hold there. There you go. Grab the jersey. That's pretty easy. But somehow the Giants are in this thing. It sort of has felt one-sided all night. Like the Eagles have kind of been in control, but here the Giants are in a position. If they can make a play here, they're going to get the ball back with a chance to take the lead.
Defense limiting them to field goals and not touchdowns is the difference. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. After 3, Philadelphia 16. The Giants 10 in the battle for first place in the NFC East. And Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. 16-10 Eagles. And we start with a 2nd down and 16 for Philadelphia at its own 27. It's tonight on Vic. Tackled 8 times, sacked once.
16 shots. That's pretty good. You'll take that every time.
And Vic rolling left this time, and he can scramble away and extends the play and buys time. And everybody's covered, but he still turns that into a nice little gain up to the 33-yard line. Now the latest on Ellis Hobbs. Here's Andrea again.
Well, Al, hopefully some good news. The x-rays on Hobbs' neck were negative. He walked out of the x-ray room wearing a knee brace, slowly walked into the locker room, and the doctor who's with him is the one who performed the surgery last December.
Well, that's terrific. A neck brace is how he walks out. So considering what we looked at for 10 minutes, to know that he walked out, well, that's great. 3rd and 11 from the 32-yard line as Vic has time. Pressure now, and the ball comes loose. It's a sack fumble, and at the 27-yard line, the Giants have it. It's Justin Tuck who comes in and dislodges the football, and the Giants down by 6 at the 27-yard line as Barry Cofield recovers the ball.
Justin Tuck just never quit on the play. This entire play, watch him come. He's blocked by 3 guys. There's no way Mike Vick's doing what he did all night, hold the ball, and this time he paid the price for it. He held it out away from his body. Justin Tuck went right after the football and may have just made a game-changing play for his team.
Vick hasn't thrown an interception and hasn't lost a fumble, so that's his first turnover of the season.
And he also hasn't faced a defense like this. You've got to give Perry Fuel and this defense credit. They have hung in there. Their offense finally woke up, and now look where we are now.
Kept them in the game, and now the Giants with a short field at the 27-yard line. 45 seconds into the fourth. And Manning goes back the other way to Jacobs to the 5-yard line. Rolls all the way to his right, throws all the way across the field to his running back, coming out of the backfield, and it's first down and goal. 22 yards.
Oh, Brandon Jacobs just going to swing right down, but watch all these receivers all come across, draw all the coverage this way. Brandon Jacobs does a beautiful job taking his time, not being in a hurry out there, not tipping it off, and he runs right by Ernie Sims. What a great play call that was by Kevin Gilbride. You get the big turnover, you go to your A-plus play and hit it big.
First down goal from the 5. Fake inside give to the end zone. Touchdown, Derek Hagan. So Justin Tuck creates it, and Manning gets him into the end zone seconds later, and the Giants are an extra point away from taking the lead.
Watch the play fake here by Eli Manning. He really sells it. Watch this. He's going to stick the ball into Bradshaw's belly and just hold it there for a couple seconds. Just hold it right there. Draw it out. And what a remarkable story this is for Derek Hagan to basically come out of his house after being waived in training camp. He knew all the plays. Coughlin trusted him, put him in there, and he just put his team in front.
And Lawrence Tynes makes it a 1-point Giant lead. 13:35 left in regulation. New York on top, 17-16. NFC East standings. The winner of this game goes into first place at 7-3. Redskins win today in Tennessee in overtime, 5-5. And Dallas now under Jason Garrett wins its second in a row to go to 3-7. And Andy Reid's team, which had a 13-point lead just a few minutes ago, is now down by 1. 17-16. And Eldra Buckley will run the kickback. But it's out of bounds off the foot of Tynes to give Philadelphia the ball at the 40-yard line.
Well, if the New York Giants have done something really well tonight, it's forcing Mike Vick with these blitzes to move to his right. When he comes that way, I don't think we've seen him complete a pass yet. He tends to tuck it and run, and it just has given this Giants defense a bit of an advantage. They're not allowing him to step up and through. They are allowing him to go outside, and they're also getting some pretty good shots on him when he goes that way. And then finally the payoff for Justin Tuck.
And Vick takes the high snap. This is McCoy. For Philadelphia, this has been, Chris, a witch's brew tonight. Missed opportunities, penalties, and turnovers. The missed opportunities, all the chances they had to score touchdowns, settled for field goals, and even had one block. The penalty on Quentin Michael to put the Giants in a first and goal situation. And then, of course, the turnover with Vick losing the ball, Tuck creating the sack fumble, and then Manning able to take him into the end zone in 2 plays. "41-yard line, second down and 9. And Vick nearly gets sacked, and the pass is incomplete because Antrell Roll, it's been a good part of the night blitzing, is able to get there. 3rd and 9.
And Antrell Roll is going to come off the edge once again right here. But I thought Mike Vick had a chance to quickly get this ball out. He had Clay Harbor open. He kind of ducked his head, which he really has not been doing this season. He's been well trained, keeping his eyes open. He had a chance to float it over the top that time to Clay Harbor, and it could have been a big play, but he got caught up in the blitzer.
So the defensive coordinator, Perry Fuel, took over last year as the interim head coach in Buffalo. And now before 3rd down and 9, Michael Vick is going to have to spend a timeout. The cruise down the Delaware River, the Ben Franklin Bridge, as we come back to the link in South Philadelphia. 3rd down and 9. After the timeout, ball is at the 41-yard line. Giants up by a point. 4-man rush. Vick fires it over the middle, and open is Avant, and he makes the catch for a first down at the 35-yard line of New York.
Really interesting. They did not come with the blitz there, and it cost them. Mike Vick from the beginning of this game, when he's had time to make these throws, he's made them. And for Jason Avant, he dropped the one in the end zone, but that was huge. They had to have that play. That was big.
24 yards. The ball is at the 35-yard line. First down. Vick over the middle. Being a 6, flag is down.
And that might be a late hit. Looked like
Michael
Boley.
Yep. Boley, who knocked Tony Romo out of the game and out for about 2 months.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense number 79. 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, that's Todd Harriman's.
If the man next to you is engaged with one of the defensive linemen, you cannot go to his knees. Right there it is. Not very much at all. I thought it was a late hit on Boley. It was a clean shot. The chop block, and here go the Eagles backwards as they continue to self-destruct. Mike paid a price on that one. Took him a good little while to get up, and he's still limping.
That's Harriman's now, so that's a clipping call against him and a chop block against him. 2 big penalties. Makes it first down and 25. Vick airs it out into double coverage and broken up by Thomas. Macklin, the intended receiver, and Thomas has help. Getting back there was Kenny Phillips as well, and Phillips is shaken on the play.
Everybody's
and Macklin is still down.
You knew it was coming sooner or later. The Giants all week played these deep balls, practiced against them. Looked like Jeremy Macklin might have hit his head on the turf coming down. You see that little whip. And I can tell you as a receiver, those do the greatest damage sometimes.
And Phillips is down as well. Both guys walked off just after we went to the commercial break. So there's Macklin. Phillips already has his helmet back on. But because he was part of the injury timeout, he has to stay out for at least one play. And Brian Jackson comes in for the moment. A rookie out of Oklahoma at one safety spot. Second down and 25 now from the 50-yard line with 11 and a half to go in regulation. And the screen is set up, and the Giants sniff it out perfectly as McCoy gets taken down by Terrell Thomas as he accepts the pass.
I'll tell you what, I like this Terrell Thomas. I really do. Every time I watch him play, he's a physical guy. He makes plays in the passing game, and you're going to see him come off the edge here. They really had a pretty decent little screen set up for a second because Justin Tuck went inside, but Terrell Thomas just ran right by Mike McGlynn and made the play. He's not flashy. He may not be the fastest guy in the world, but most of the tapes I put on, he's playing pretty well.
Kenny Phillips back in. Macklin's back in as well. Third down and 30. And here come the Giants on the 3rd and 30, and the ball is loose again. Then the Giants think they have it. Here comes Ron Winter in, and he indicates that Michael Vick is able to fall on it and to retain possession, but that's a 6-yard sack. Barry Cofield, who recovered the fumble created by Justin Tuck on the last series, is the guy who creates this one, and that's going to set up a 4th and 35.
Right here, I think that's Barry Cofield just going to make a nice move inside, working against McGlynn, who kind of gives him that side, and that forces Vick to step up. And once again, once he takes that step to the right, there was Justin Tuck.
There's Blackman taking Sam Rocca's kick at the 14-yard line. And bringing it back out to the 27-yard line. Eli in this half, 9 for 9 for 69 yards, 2 TDs.
Well, we told you this is a good team offensively, but it's really been much more about Eli Manning in the passing game. They haven't really been able to establish it. And I'll tell you, once they got that first turnover, they really started getting creative with the offensive play calling, a little pick with a backup tackle in there. And Eli has just gotten it done. You know, he is a guy that has found a way to understand this offense better. He's not getting intimidated by the blitz anymore, and he just keeps making plays.
From the 27-yard line on first down. Bradshaw. 2-yard gain to the 29.
Well, there are so many things that you talk about with this Giants offensive team, but up front they're a wreck. They have Sean O'Hara hurt. Rich Seibert came over and played center. Kevin Booth off of the PUP list playing guard. Sean Andrews off of getting an epidural playing left tackle. No Steve Smith. And yet somehow here in the second half they've pieced it together.
On 2nd and 8. Good coverage. Hagan, the intended receiver. Quentin Michael is right there as the ball got there. 3rd and 8.
Well, here's what I like that I see out of Sean Andrews. Just a very athletic guy. Watch him go inside and then back outside. Stop the initial penetration, come back out on the blitzer, give Eli time to throw the football.
Manning's first incomplete pass of the half. 3rd and 8. With the crowd on its feet, the pass is caught on the outside, and Nix breaks the tackle and picks up a 1st down, and then the ball comes loose at the end of the play, and the Giants are able to recover it. Rich Seibert, the center.
Well, Asante Samuel tipped this blitz, and it gave Eli just enough time to figure it out. Quentin Michael here is going to get the clean shot. All you're hoping for is a play in the open field, make the tackle, and Quentin Michael just fanned. There's Asante Samuel coming off the edge there, and by leaving early, Eli knew he could raise up and just get it out there to Nix, who did the rest.
And the recovery by Seibert to keep possession for the Giants with the ball at the 47-yard line. Manning sliding left, and the ball is on the ground again. And this time at the 38-yard line. The Eagles have it.
The question's going to be, was Bradshaw's knee on the ground or elbow?
Right, and that's why Coughlin goes to the sock. He's ready to throw the challenge flag.
And it's close. He ended up in sort of a prone position on the ground. Oh boy, that's close. If his forearm is on the ground, he's down.
As the forearm touches the ground, the ball comes out.
Was it the hand, or was it the wrist, or was it the forearm? If it's the hand, it's still alive. If it's the forearm, he would be down.
Right.
The Giants have challenged the ruling on the field of a fumble.
Oh, that's close.
So Winter will go under the hood for Coughlin's challenge with a huge call when he comes back out onto the field. All right, Ron Winter is still looking at it. This is about as close as it can get. If your hand is down, the play is still alive. If your wrist is down or the forearm, the play is dead. So when does the ball come out? And that's what Winter has to look for right here. Hand down, play is not over. Back of the wrist, forearm is down, the play is over. So that's what Winter has to look at and decide right now.
Oh, oh boy, that is close.
Because the wrist is considered in this ruling as part of the forearm, meaning he's down. The hand, the back of the hand is part of, well, it's part of the hand, which we know. But in terms of interpreting the rule, the back of the hand is the same as the fingers. Here comes Winter.
After review, with the ball in his possession, the runner put his forearm and wrist onto the ground. Therefore, he is down by contact. New York is not charged with a timeout. The 2nd down on the 40-yard line. The game clock will start when we're ready for play.
Well, Ron Winter had to consider this to be indisputable, that was the forearm and the wrist down. There it clearly is. I think you could at least make the strong argument that when the hand hit, it's when that ball started to pop out, but maybe just enough of that wrist was on the ground to call him down. Boy, that's a close one. And it's almost one that you would have thought maybe would have stayed with the call on the field, but Ron Winter saw enough.
And that was a reception and a 7-yard loss, so it's 2nd down and 17 with the ball back at the New York 40-yard line. And Winter now explaining it to Andy Reid. Andy knows the rules as well as anybody. Just going to dispute that it was not his hand.
I bet you they're having discussions about a lot of body parts over there.
It's funny how this game has turned out, though. It looked like it was all Philadelphia, and the Giant defense, by limiting Philadelphia, by limiting the Eagles to field goals and field goal attempts, kept them in the game. And now first place at stake. Here comes Winter again. There's a clock issue. That's what that is. This has nothing to do with changing the call on the field again. Game said just about everything.
It has, but it's been, typical of what you get when you play these divisional games. You know each other so well, and there's no secrets, and all the hot reads and the blitzes, you've seen them 1,000 times, and sometimes it comes down to a little wrinkle here, or a big play, or a turnover, and a play just like that with Bradshaw where they give the ball back to the Giants that decides them.
We've spent 3.5 quarters. We can't get to the Michael Vick situation. We spent a ton of time. Bob Costas, of course, interviewed him on Football Night in America. Tony Dungy talked a lot about it. So it's not avoiding the issue, but we felt during the game itself to concentrate on the game. But just a couple of thoughts about it before Winter lets us know what's going to happen here in terms of the clock.
Previous spot is the 47-yard line. The runner was down at the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 17. The clock will start on the ready for play.
Just in summation, Chris, we know what happened in the past. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's complicated. But for the moment, Michael Vick saying all the right things, and you have to think a lot of it is not just what people are telling him to say, but some of it has to come from his heart.
It does, but I hope he handles success better this time than he did last time.
He knows that, too. He's a guy who said, you fall, you have to pick yourself back up. I've been shortchanging myself. I let a lot of people down, including myself. 2nd and 17 right now. Manning throws, and that's incomplete off the hand of Hakeem Nicks. 3rd and 17.
Game's getting pretty physical on the outside. Dimitri Patterson working on Nicks. Going to give him a good shot, but really Patterson slipped and fell, and Eli just threw that one a little bit high. Just out of the reach, because that one might have gone for the first down had he hit it. Big blitz down here.
3rd down and 17 from the 40. Nope. Eli with that shoulder shake and the errant pass. Hagan was the intended receiver. So the Eagles will get the ball back, but unless there's a block punt much deeper than had that ruling gone the other way.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Don Jackson's been a little quiet here tonight, but he has been plenty loud in the past with some punt returns and had some big ones against the Giants, too.
And Matt Dodge has had a wacky year.
Uh-oh.
It continues. What else is new? Flag. And for the moment, that goes into the end zone.
Oh, if they had any kind of a rush on. It's amazing he can pick that up.
During the kick, holding, number 30, receiving team. be a 10-yard penalty from the 20-yard line. First down.
Colt Anderson.
Oh boy, you don't like having rookies anywhere in big games, but I was in the special teams meeting room having a meeting this week, and on the board written in huge marker was relax for Matt Dodge. I don't think he relaxed on that one.
Relaxed too much. The 10-yard line. Gain of 1. LaShawn McCoy. The second down. The penalty yardage tonight. 119 yards against the Eagles. And the huge one was the Quentin Michael pass interference, setting up the Giants' first touchdown. The Giants just 50. Second and 8. Dodge probably saying right now, it should have been an accountant. Good. To the outside, and that's caught for a first down by Owen Schmidt, the fullback. He gets it out to the 22-yard line as we tick down to 7 minutes left.
I tell you what, anytime, and this is a good pass rush here for the New York Giants. Let's make no mistake about that. But every time they've come with a 4-man rush, Mike Vick has had all day. I mean, it hasn't even been close. Watch it. I mean, in the National Football League against a team that has these kinds of pass rushers on it, you just don't see that much time very often.
Vick to the right side to Macklin with a little stiff arm out to the 40-yard line.
I like what Mike Vick did that time. He saw the blitz coming off his right side. He knew where the cornerback was, just got it out of his hands. That'll make him stop blitzing. You come here, throw it right at the blitz. There you go. Now good luck tackling these guys in the open field. Earl Thomas slipped on the outside and gave Macklin a little extra room.
Gain of 19. The ball is out at the 41-yard line. 6 minutes left. Screen is set up here, and a short gain, and a Schmidt again. And he picks up about 3. Dion Grant making the tackle.
Pretty good job by Jason Avant on the outside there, the wideout. He's seen Antrell Roll blitz so many times, he's just going to block him. And then, all right, forget it. Protect my quarterback. We've got the screen going. It's one of the things that Avant really brings to all these talented guys is the ability to block in that slot.
Ball at the 45. Second down and 6. Vick to his left. Rips it off underneath, and that's caught by McCoy. He gets tackled there by Roll. And a big third down play upcoming.
Now that was a little change in defense for the New York Giants. I haven't seen them play that 2-deep safety look the whole night. And Mike took one look and just decided to dump it down. But now here it is. Great opportunity for the Giants. This is where they want it. Third down and 5. Let's see if they bring the pressure off of Mike Vick's left side here. Here it comes.
They're coming. They get to him and knock Vick down, and the pass is incomplete. And that was Michael Boley who gets to him, and it will be 4th down. And there's a flag on the other side of the field. Totally away from the play.
I think one of the Giants, Jason Pierre-Paul, may have jumped on that one.
If it's offside, they're still going to be, even though it was third and close to 6. It'll be a half-yard shy.
Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty.
Still third down, Ron.
Third down.
Okay.
There he is, right there. Just enough. Talked about rookies in key situations.
So now the ball is just across the 50. 3rd and 1. Vick comes up in the gun. with 4.5. Joined in the backfield by Jackson. Vick sidearms it incomplete. Intended for Macklin. So now 4th and 1. And if you're Andy Reid right here, now what?
I think you go for it.
I do too.
I'm assuming that's why they lined up in shotgun on 3rd down, because they knew they were going to go for it on 4th down. I will never understand that. You get teams out there in a 3rd down and a yard, and you go shotgun, you're giving up what they have to defend most.
4th and 1 from just across midfield. Vick under center now. Juggles the snap, but gets it away. And McCoy has the 1st down and a lot more. In fact, a touchdown. A juggled snap, and he gets it away, and it's a 50-yard touchdown.
Unbelievable.
And now in a 5-point game, Philadelphia will go for 2, trying to get it to 24-17 on a 4th and 1 after the Pierre-Paul offside. That would have made it, had he not been offside, 4th down and 6, and almost forced them to punt. And Vick comes over toward the bench just to make sure he's got the call here for the 2-point conversion. Lines up under center. Goes to Buckley in the backfield with him. Jackson in motion. And Vick will throw it, and it will be caught, and Avant takes it in over the goal line for the 2-pointer.
Unbelievable. You're going to have Antrell Roll trying to jump over the top, and look, they are completely out of position. They come out, kick out here with Jason Peters. They're all playing the quarterback sneak, not anticipating that at all. Nice job by Todd Hermans down the field, but just out of position. They lost their discipline on this one, and Mike Vick somehow held on to this ball long enough to get this pitch off just before O.C. Umenyiora got there, and then Sean McCoy in the open field did the rest. Couldn't tell if Nick Cole may have hit Mike Vick's arm a little bit coming out. I'll tell you what, 2 great open field blocks on that one, though, from Jason Peters and Todd Hermans. See if Nick Cole may have, just hard to tell whether or not Nick Cole hit Mike Vick's arm or not. But just before Umenyiora, he misses that ball by about an inch of knocking it down.
Woo! Amazing.
What a game.
And the 2-point conversion to Avant to make it 7 again. First place in the NFC East at stake. Back and forth we go. 4:25 remaining. Giants all their timeouts. 15-yard line. And a good run back this time by Will Blackman to the 39-yard line. Sunday Night Football from Philly, being brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE, the largest, most advanced 4G network in the world. By Zales, the Diamond Store. By the new film The Fighter, December 17th, rated R. And by Toyota and the Tiny Football League kids. Don't forget the stretch. Giants start from their own 39. There's McCoy on the bike. Mannings has to reposition Hagan into the slot on the right. And then throws downfield for Hagan, and it's intercepted by Asante Samuel off the deflection. and back to the Giant 42, and then the ball is down again at the 42-yard line. So the Eagles have it. The Giants are going to get it back. The Giants get it back after Samuel fumbles on the return.
And I think it was Ahmad Bradshaw that got the hit to knock that ball out. So Bradshaw returning the favor. You get the double move by Hagan. It ends up hitting Joselio Hansen right in the head. Bounces off to Asante Samuel. Let's see if Ahmad Bradshaw gets this hit. Right on the ball. Ball out.
And
the
Soybert
Giants
comes up with it.
Have another chance. What else? This is awesome. I love it. Great hustle play by Bradshaw.
Right. And Rich, you can call me Soybert or Seibert, whatever you want.
Just give me the ball.
Recovers it. Ball at the 40. Jacobs is now in the backfield at the 40-yard line. So overall, the Giants on that play netted 1 yard. To the outside. Duke Calhoun. And Duke is stopped at the 44-yard line.
Well, it just should have been better than that. They caught him in the perfect defense. They come with a slot blitz. You've got the quick screen to the outside. This is the perfect call, and they're not executing the play. The slot blitz coming here. You've got two blockers in front, and they just missed the blocks. Mario Manningham's got to make that play.
Calhoun, the rookie from Memphis, his first NFL catch. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Under 3.5 left. Eagles running some stunts up front, and Manning's pass is incomplete, intended for Derek Hagan. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
And at that time, Brandon Graham got some quick pressure on the outside and forced Eli to move out of the pocket. For Andy Reid, boy, it's nice to see his young rookie making a play in a big moment.
Third and 6. Here they come again. Manning almost gets sacked, gets it away, and then it's dropped by Jacobs. So it's 4th down now. What do the Giants want to do here? They have all of their timeouts. Do you go for it? Do you punt? Looks like Coughlin's going to go for it. 4th and 6.
Eli missed this one. They got a double blitz here. You got to throw it hot. No choice. Right there. You take one of those two guys. He tried to dance around with it, got it out of there, but that's on Eli Manning. He missed it.
4th and 6. Giants going for it from their own 44-yard line. Andy Reid telling the crowd, come on, get into it. They're into it.
Giants have all 3 timeouts. They could easily punt this football and play defense.
They're afraid to. Manning's going to run for it. He's going to get the 1st down. He gets to the 40-yard line, and then as he goes down, the ball comes loose. There was a whistle. You heard the whistle. Then there's a little fight that breaks out. You heard the whistle as Manning went down. If you slide to a stop, that's the end of the play. If you dive, you're still in play until you get touched at the end of the play. So here's Manning. So he has to be touched before the ball comes loose. The ball looks like it's loose before anybody gets there, before he's touched, before he's down. There it is. And then Samuel is there to come up with the ball, and they're going to rule it a fumble.
And I think what Tom Coughlin's saying is,
ran with the ball, dove. When it hit the ground, the ball came loose. Philadelphia recovered the ball. 1st down.
That's the difference between going head first and feet first. Feet first, end of play. Head first, the play is still going until you get touched.
and you can sort of declare yourself down, but that was not one of those situations. I mean, Eli is still here clearly going for yardage, does not slide. And without being touched, that ball was out.
Deja vu happened last year in the Giants-Eagles game at the end of the season with Manning.
If he goes the other way, he's down the minute he starts to slide.
And that Coughlin's going to challenge it, but I can't see where he wins this challenge, because I don't see where he was touched before the ball comes loose, even though the whistle had blown.
Is there any contact at all here?
Well,
I don't.
Hand to foot. I mean, it's the left hand.
But the ball's already out, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what I think. And you can stitch it together. You can stitch the angles together here.
Right there, the ball's
loose.
The
ball's out.
Now the leg's going to come around.
Right. Ball's on the ground, and it is out of his possession. So I don't see how Coughlin wins this challenge.
Well, and it's a big choice by Tom Coughlin to challenge that, because at this point in the game, if you lose this one, you're losing a timeout, a much-needed timeout.
Yep, it leaves you with two. It leaves you with two plus the 2-minute warning. Again, you can stitch it together. There's this one angle here where it looks like there's contact. There's the foot to the calf. But they can look at two separate angles and figure out exactly when the ball came loose. So again, I don't know how it gets overturned.
I think the contact was clearly after the ball was out. Unless somehow they rule that first foot made contact, but I didn't see that at all.
No, unless they think they saw a putty cat. No, it's going to stay.
But still plenty of time for the Giants, even if they lose this one, because they're going to get the 2-minute warning and 2 timeouts. They just need to stop.
Eli down. Ball is coming out. Still alive, still alive, still alive. Ball's out. There's contact. Here comes Winter.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. There was a fumble. Recovered by Philadelphia. New York is charged with a timeout. That is their second challenge. There are no challenges remaining for the duration of the game.
So the Giants out of challenges, but that's moot after 51 more seconds. They have 2 timeouts, and they also have a 2-minute warning. So if they can get a 3 and out, that's what they need right now. Use the timeouts, take advantage of the 2-minute warning, and then get the ball back. There it is. Turnovers again tonight. It's been a killer for this team. And it's shocking because in all the years that Coughlin has coached, going back to Jacksonville, and all the years with the Giants, at one point he was the all-time leader in fewest turnovers per game. Now that reverts back to our colleague Tony Dungy. Sean McCoy to the 40-yard line, and now the Giants will take timeout number 2. So a good one here tonight. 24-17 Philadelphia. Next week to Indianapolis we go, and the Colts coming up a little short today against New England, against the San Diego Chargers, who play Denver tomorrow night. Football night gets it started at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific. There was Peyton today, 396 yards with 3 picks, including a costly one at the end. And that rivalry just gets better and better through the years. 31-28 New England.
Well, for Eli, he made such a great play to realize he could run and pick up the first down, and then just sort of lost it, just doesn't hold on to the football.
Second down and 10 now with McCoy in the backfield. Schmidt is the fullback. But they're making sure the Giants use their timeout. starts, and McCoy is figuring, well, not only won't you use your timeouts, but I'm going to take it all the way to the 20-yard line. Wow. Thomas finally runs him down. So McCoy with that 50-yard run and now a 40-yard gallop.
Almost every time you see a long run like that, you see somebody on the ground. Watch Winston Justice block right here. He's going to come in, get Cofield on the ground, open up the cutback, and there goes Shady McCoy. What a big fourth quarter he's had. Nick Cole with a nice block to push him out of there, but it was really the cut on the backside. You think of so many of the Denver Broncos great running teams, those offensive linemen cutting the defensive line on the backside, and it creates big opportunities.
And look at that, McCoy, 11 rushes, 103. That's a pretty good night. A 50 and a 40.
Really nothing.
Right. So the other he had 9 rushes for 13 yards, and then a 50 and a 40.
You know, this game is really such a key game, though, because when you look at the NFC, Chicago and Green Bay both at 7-3, Atlanta and New Orleans 7-3 or better. There's no guarantee a wild card comes out of the NFC East.
And Tampa's also 7-3. Giants took their last time out there, so they're out of them. Only at the 2-minute warning when the clock stopped. And this will take us to the 2-minute warning. Of course, what's the best team in the NFC or the league? Well, that's a movable feast. Every week it changes. A couple of weeks ago it was the Giants. Then it was New England. Then the other night it was Philadelphia. Then it's the Jets.
Well, I think there's some people in Atlanta want to make some claims to that, too. Nobody's talking about that football team.
Right. Changes every week. There's a flavor of the week. Which flavor this week? Philly up by 7 with the 2-minute warning. Wendy's postgame report to come after the game. Andrea with the star or stars of the game, and the gang will wrap up what happened today and around the NFL, and we'll look ahead to the Chargers and the Colts. That fumble by Manning was a big play last year. The Meadowlands 45-38. Philly won the game. The challenge, they lost the challenge. The Giants did eventually retake the lead in that game, but it was a big play. And Philly wound up winning 45-38. Now Philly's trying to knock them off for the 5th consecutive time, counting postseason. 2 key plays tonight, Chris.
Yeah, both of them lost contain. At least one of them by Michael Boley on the right-hand side here. Mike Vick, you're going to see that they have it plugged up inside, but when Boley jumps down, he allows Vick to get around, and then on the big one to the outside, Michael Boley lines up inside, and Antrell Roll decides to dive over the top. Impossible to know whether or not it was Roll or whether or not it was Boley who should have had contained, but those 2 plays have really cost the Giants this football game.
And the Giants out of timeouts, and Philadelphia is going to let this run all the way down. And they take a timeout here with 1:12, and of course they were already in field goal range. Can't run the clock all the way out unless they get a first down, but they can attempt what would be a clinching field goal. So once again, the records of the teams in the division. If Philly wins, they go to 7-3. Giants will be 6-4. Skins at 5-5. And Dallas with a little resurgence under Jason Garrett, 3-7. What about Philadelphia? They go to Chicago next week, and the Bears are 7-3, and then the snake-bitten Texans, who had it won at the Meadowlands today against the Jets and lost it at the end with Mark Sanchez finding Edwards and then Holmes 4-6. Then at Dallas Sunday nighter, December 12th.
And Dallas is going to play the role of spoiler the rest of the way. They're playing much better, won a couple in a row, and those games may well decide.
3rd and 6. The first down would end it. There's McCoy. He won't get it. Now do you bring Akers in for the kill shot? Meanwhile, Andy's going to let this clock run all the way down, obviously. And Akers ready to come back out. After Philadelphia takes
You know, this
final timeout.
Now, this isn't as easy as you think, because remember, the Giants have already blocked one here tonight.
You bet.
And the last thing in the world you want to do is just line up and let that one go, because if you remember, Corey Webster kind of had a shot. He had the ball in his hand. He was running down the field. I think they'll try it, but it's not a no-brainer by any means.
Nope. Wackier things have happened. Blocked field goal came at the end of the first half.
Terrell Thomas coming off the corner got it, and it was the last play, and here's Corey Webster. And really, they had some opportunities here. You know, if they could have just let this thing set up and, you know, maybe a lateral behind and go block Rocket in front of them, who knows what would have happened.
Akers will line up for a 30-yard attempt. Rocket puts it down, and that kick is just good. Again, flirting with the upright. But that will write an end to this one with a 10-point lead and 22 seconds remaining in the game.
What do they say in golf? You just write a 3 on the scorecard and move on. I don't ask how you got it.
Fairway and regulation.
That's it.
The Giants, what happens? They go home. They've got Jacksonville in the Meadowlands next week. Jaguars winning again today, knocking off Cleveland in the title. And then Washington comes to town. Then they go to Minnesota. And then Philadelphia goes to the Meadowlands on December the 12th. And then the Giants, take a look at that at the end. Tough at Green Bay. And then they go to Washington to end the season on Jan 2.
And we know what the headlines are going to be tomorrow in New York. Are we seeing another fold? Remember last year, the 5-0 start, and it was so great in the beginning, and Tom Coughlin's teams have struggled down the stretch lately, and they had a chance in this one. You know, they just gave it away. They just silly plays.
Well, after Philadelphia almost gave it away. Philadelphia letting the Giants get back into the game on that big Quentin Michael penalty. And then the fumble by Vick that led to 2 quick Giant touchdowns. And then Manning with that fumble after going head first and losing it, giving the ball back to Philadelphia. And now the Giants will go back home in second place in the division. And that Jason Pierre-Paul penalty, that offside penalty, also very big. 19-yard line. Will Blackman up to the 38 with 16 seconds remaining.
But in reality, these two teams meet again, and effectively the Philadelphia Eagles held serve at home. So, you know, that's the way these divisional games go sometimes. But the Giants did have a great opportunity to come in and steal one. Their defense hung tough for so long until their offense woke up in the second half and then just made too many mistakes down the stretch.
Vick 24 of 38, Michael, tonight for 258 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So he has now gone through week 11 of the season. He missed 3 games, of course, with a rib injury, but no interceptions. Manning will run to the sideline, and that takes 8 of the 16 seconds off the clock. .191 passes without an interception, longest streak in franchise history. Jeff Garcia on that streak. Could have won a few shekels on that bet.
Yeah, it's been what, since 2006 now that Mike Vick has thrown an interception. He wasn't what he was in Washington last week, but good enough to get the W tonight.
2nd and 4. And that's going to be intercepted with 1 second. Stuart Bradley comes away with the pick and the football. Take that one all the way back with him as Eli throws his 3rd interception of the night.
Well, I'll give Eli some credit for one thing. I know a lot of quarterbacks that would have thrown that ball in about the 3rd row and not risked anything on their stat sheet with an interception. So at least he went down firing.
I know Archie and Olivia Manning have had better days and nights in front of that television set in New Orleans.
Yeah. They've had plenty of good nights.
Oh, yes, they have. But a tough one today with Peyton losing in New England and Eli and the Giants going down, and a kneel down by Michael Vick will end the game, and the Philadelphia Eagles go to 7-3, undisputed possession of first place in the National Football Conference East as they win it by a score of 27-17. Coming up next, the Wendy's post-game report. But first, these messages from your local NBC station.